In the main event, Vader would challenge Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. Shawn had won the title at WrestleMania 12 and defended it against the likes of Diesel and Camp Cornette member British Bulldog on pay-per-view. Cornette wasn't done with Shawn Michaels, however, so he set another of his stable after the WWE Champion. Shawn and Vader had the best match of the night by far. Shawn Michaels seemed to have a special talent for having amazing matches with much larger opponents. From this to his many battles with the likes of Sid, The Undertaker and many more. And this would be another. At the opening bell there's very little wrestling, just a wild brawl. Within minutes the action spills to the outside, and Shawn takes the opportunity to dive at Vader. He's still the Heartbreak Kid, he's still a flashy showman, but he's more aggressive than we would normally see him. At the near 15-minute mark, Vader actually wins this match by countout, having dropped Michaels over the guardrail. Upon realizing Vader can't win the title this way, his manager Jim Cornette takes the microphone and demands that the match be restarted. Shawn could have walked away still the champion, a la Yokozuna at Summerslam 94, but against his manager Jose Lothario's wishes, HBK heads back to the ring. When it looks like Shawn will win this time, Cornette throws in his trademark tennis racket, only for Shawn to catch it and go mad with it, attacking Vader and Cornette. No wonder he hates Shawn so much. Vader now wins for the second time thanks to Shawn getting disqualified, but again doesn't get the championship for a DQ. Cornette once again gets on the microphone and lures Shawn into agreeing to restart the match again. Vader hits a powerbomb and earns a visual pinfall, but the referee was down and unable to count, so Vader could have won 3 times now. Eventually, Shawn Michaels hits a moonsault off the top and he manages to hold on and pin Vader. This near 30-minute match is one I recommend you go and watch, but there is a dark backstory to it. Despite the two having many house show matches in the lead up to SummerSlam, Shawn and Vader just couldn't seem to get along. The false finishes and restarts were supposed to lead to a rematch, where Shawn would lose the title to Vader at Survivor Series, and then win it back at the 1997 Royal Rumble, which would take place in Shawn's adopted hometown, San Antonio, Texas. Shawn originally being from Arizona, but moved around a lot because of his father's military career, before eventually settling in Texas. Vince's plan was to use the long-term booking to build an absolute monster for Shawn Michaels to slay in front of the biggest crowd possible that would be completely behind the Heartbreak Kid. Because of the heat that had built between the two that peaked at SummerSlam, the plan was changed, and Sid would become the one to dethrone Michaels, and then lose to him at the Alamo Dome. You can pinpoint the exact moment that those plans change, around 12 minutes into the match. Shawn Michaels climbs to the top rope to hit his trademark elbow drop, but instead of hitting the elbow, Shawn lands on his feet and proceeds to yell, "Move!" at Vader. The planned spot was for Shawn to go for the elbow and for Vader to roll out of the way, but he didn't, and Michaels lost his cool, yelling at Vader and kicking him in the head twice. In his autobiography years later, Shawn would admit his wrongdoing in this moment, but this was just the last of many incidents. After Vader's WWE release in 1998, he would talk in interviews about his legendarily stiff style never truly fitting in the WWE. He would also talk about one top-of-the-card wrestler in particular, who would often threaten to get him fired for being too stiff. He didn't name that wrestler, but it would later become clear that he was talking about Shawn Michaels. Vader's stiff in-ring style was well known through the business, and occasionally wrestlers would fight back. One such match is a classic between himself and Ric Flair at WCW's 1993 Starrcade. The story goes that Flair's manager, Harley Race, whispered to Flair at ringside that he needs to fight back, and Flair did, making for an epic match, and one I can't wait to talk about when we get to December.